to the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's everybody's favorite sad dads, Jim and Foo.
When I did when it said 3 hours, I was like, yeah, okay, for some idiot.
Yeah.
And then it took me 3 fucking hours.
I don't think you understand. I've been inside many electronic vaginas.
Yeah.
And
well, what was scary to me was
2.5 minutes.
The number of screws and how they're not all the same size. You know, you might get a longer one here, but a shorter one in these other parts, but the heads all look the same.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay. And so I'm like to the point where I'm like laying them, I'll pull the screws out and like lay them in the position where they have come out.
Yeah.
So that I can go, okay, that's the one that goes here. The two on, you know, this, here's 5 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
This number 3 one goes in the center, and it's the long guy or whatever it is.
Right.
So I'm like organizing all the shit like that. And when you really start doing that is when the time sink starts to come into place, because then you're like, most of your time is organizing all the stuff so that you don't fuck it up when you put it back together.
Right.
You know,
like, is this giving me... Is this not tightening all the way because it's the long one in the short hole?
Right.
Or did I just cross-thread this?
Uh-huh.
Or did I strip the head? You know what?
Yeah. And they're all so small. You're almost using like...
I can't see.
Yeah, you're using like a...
Jeweler's magnifying.
Yeah. You need to have the little eye thing where you're like... You know what I mean?
Yeah. The monocle?
Yeah. You almost need to have one of those.
Jolly good motherfucker.
And then it's like, don't get this adhesive remover on anything besides the battery adhesive. And you're like, I'm squirting this inside of a MacBook Pro.
Yeah, what do you mean? Like, what's going to happen?
Something bad, I'm sure. Well,
if you find your skin is being removed, you applied it to something you shouldn't have. Wait, what?
I mean, what we found out was nothing as bad as what would happen after I put it all together and sent it to my daughter.
Right. Right.
We're still like, every time I think about that, I'm just...
Do not take your laptop swimming after replacing the battery.
Or ever.
Or memory. What did you do? It was
a battery.
It was a battery?
Yeah. Because Chandler had it docked all the time, and it was just plugged in like a desktop machine.
Yeah.
And it just killed the battery. And so I replaced the battery, and then we sent it off, and 2 weeks later, it was completely dead.
She gave it a healthy drink of water.
Yeah. And I didn't know this at the time, or apparently any time before that. I always thought if it was just water, it's probably better than some sugary Coke or coffee or something like that. Mm-hmm. Apparently water's the worst thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's got all the H2O in it.
Right. All of the oxide.
I think Melanie's had H3O in it. Yeah. That's how bad it was.
And there's some hydrogens in there. At least 2.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's bad.
Yeah.
Because if you have one,
yeah,
that's one thing. But having 2 of them, now you're fucking with fate.
It's weird to think about. 2 hydrogen atoms and an oxygen atom is water. That's just weird. That doesn't make any sense to me.
There's atoms, and you get a bunch of them together
in a certain format, and it makes a thing.
Right.
Yeah. That's weird.
Science, man.
Science.
Fucking.
I mean, I believe in it, but it's weird. Doesn't mean it makes any sense to me.
Magnets, man.
Oh, yeah, shit.
I don't know. No.
I was watching a guy tear apart a GTR, GTR transmission.
Okay.
And they're automatic.
Yes.
I think typically, right?
Yes.
I don't think they make manual GTRs. Ooh. Do they? I think in general they're usually automatic.
Yeah, they might be.
Because they're like double clutch,
flappy,
wet
paddle
clutchy, something, I don't know.
Well, if I'm driving it, it's a wet clutch.
Well, he was taking it apart, and he had to take the solenoid bit down.
Okay.
Whatever that piece is called. And he was changing out some parts in there because apparently there's like a TSA on some clips in there.
Okay.
And the thing is actuated by a magnetic these like magnetic things that have like there's a energizer on the side, and it that's what pulls the clutch shit or the forks and stuff around. Is this magnetic? There's like 4 of them or something in there.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I was like, oh damn, that's how they were. I thought everything was like hydraulic or something. I mean, it's full of fluid. You would think they would just use the fluid, but it's got some sort of magnetic electronic thing that like that's what pushes these pistons around. Is this electric magnetism?
How very Japanese of them. They're like,
yeah,
it's good enough for mass transit trains. Good enough for transmission.
Yeah. I mean, it's not maglev.
Right.
But it's magnetic nonetheless.
They're leving-ish.
Yeah. But one of the failure points on them is that, transmissions just in general, they get a lot of just shavings in them just from gears rubbing on each other. Kind of like a porn, right?
Right.
But the shavings end up collecting on the magnets in these things, so it's like that sort of binds them up a little bit at times, and so you have to go in and clean those out.
That sounds a lot like what was the recall I just saw about some of the Ford's 10-speed automatic transmission shavings?
Yeah,
but a little bit worse, like more like bolts.
Wait, what? Just extra bolts, or they just fall out somewhere?
There was a recall for some. I don't know if it was a bolt that backs itself out.
Oh, that's
or
fun.
Some transmissions that had a loose bolt somewhere along the line that makes its way tick 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 into the housing and
ends up in the gear set.
It's like hi. There's a recall for that. Oh, and
you would think it would end up in the pan and stuck to a magnet or something.
And what it does is you would get the indicator that you're in park, but the bolt will sit just in a way that it doesn't fully engage park. So you think you're in park, but you're actually in that in-between space, not there.
The taint.
And not in gear. And, you get out and
then your car rolls away.
10-speed, whatever is starting to roll away.
Oh, shit.
Ooh.
I don't know much about, I mean, I know enough about a transmission, but it was kind of eye-opening for me because I did a transmission service on my car at one point, and you like literally pull the pan and drain all the fluid out and then replace the filter in there. And like, I didn't really know, I'd never done that before, but it was interesting to be up under the car and looking at the inside of my transmission. Like, I don't know what the hell any of that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I hope I'm not wrecking something somehow. But then I see some of these YouTube videos where they're like pulling the what do you call it?
Synchros?
No, it sits under the gears that like all the fluid, all the things that make things move. It's not the
forks?
No, it's the, God damn it. It's like the fluid pressures are changing these.
Okay.
And that's what moves the forks around and stuff.
All right.
And like, they're like zipping those off and like changing stuff in them. And I'm like, I didn't do anything like that.
I've seen in like over the summer, like the truck researchings, like, rebuilding transmissions and stuff. It certainly from a shade tree mechanic perspective, is like might be just talking about it in the abstract without looking at it, and you're looking at a thing in its case. It's
simple.
It's I don't know.
Oh, there's like black magic going on inside of them.
But then you watch some videos, and I mean, it's a lengthy task, but really if you understand, it's just sequencing.
Yeah.
If you understand the sequencing and all of and you're not rushing it, you're just putting big blocks together, and they need to fit. They're only really going to fit as they are intended.
Yeah.
So if you go slow enough and you're paying attention and it has your attention, and you have a reference, making sure your tolerances are where they should be, making sure that everything that if you disassemble it first, that everything is labeled in its place and everything goes back in its place.
Dude.
I mean, you're like looking at it like, yeah, but I wouldn't necessarily want to do it to a live car. But if I could buy just a piece of shit
and then work on it
and just take, like I was gonna, I kept Emily's old, her steering box from the Jeep, just to
open it up
and rebuild it. I mean, most steering gears, at least for Jeeps and whatnot, they're all really just rebuilt at this point in time.
Right.
Like it's whether or not it's
they're not making new ones.
Right. They're taking a core, they're rebuilding it, whether it's professionally or shade tree mechanic or a shop around the corner.
Sure.
Most of them are taking in a core to rebuild them and resell them. Like most of them are rebuilt.
Yeah.
So I had intended it to be, you've got seals, you've got gears, you've got pins, proper lubrication, and tolerances. They all have to be checked. And if you, like, it's like transmission very, 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 very light. Like, it would be, and it's a part that that goes in nothing that I have, and the Jeep is gone.
What are you going to do with it?
Right. But if I wanted absolutely no detriment, it can't hurt anything.
That's a good way to learn.
That's a good way to practice.
Sure.
But does everyone have a spare fucking steering box or a spare transmission? No.
I think we talked about this on the show at one point, probably a few years ago. I had a 91 Civic Si with a 5-speed that I had for a long time. And second gear started to not want to go into gear.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously the synchros were starting to go bad. And it was like that for a while. And I think one year we got a tax refund, and I was like my little brother was very much idiot savant when it comes to car stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, hey, will you help me? I want to replace the transmission in my car. There's something wrong with the synchros. And he's like, yeah, sure. So him and I went down to Rancho Cordova and bought a transmission.
Mm-hmm.
And we got it home. And it turns out that the transmission we bought had like the bearings and shit were wormed in them. And it was like really worn.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up going and buying new bearings and then opening the case. And then he sat on the floor of my parents' garage with two transmissions. So mine with the bad synchros and this new transmission that we bought that was used. He replaced the bearings and then rebuilt the new transmission with the good parts from each.
Yeah.
Sitting on the floor. And I remember looking at him with these like two transmissions exploded on the floor. Nothing's labeled.
Right.
And he put it back together. And it just blew my mind, like the amount of mental organization that you have in order to like put that back together. And it worked was bonkers.
You know what gives me confidence that those kind of things are actually tackleable, but yet seem like a bridge too far for the yous and me's, is the watching some of like the Mighty Car Mod stuff, a YouTube channel out of Australia. That Malaysian 24-hour race that they did for those two guys are very car aware, but they're not mechanics, and they'll tell you that. And they took with them a team of car enthusiasts, skilled car drivers, but all somewhat car adept people and aware. And then a Daihatsu, like a small car.
Yeah.
They were able to put together and go, I'm going to say, punch above their weight because you got to get it done, and we want to learn. And some of those car formats at that size, the mechanics involved are simple,
Right.
And they're not so advanced that if you get yourself into a pickle, the things aren't really all that advanced that you can't find someone to source a solution. They drive around that track with a blown, what was it, second gear or something.
Yeah.
And while they did have professional race team help, they drop an engine, adjust the clutch or something. They put a different transmission in it.
Yeah, they went
and then adjusted
bought a new transmission
and,
offsite.
less stronger, not as much of a clamping force clutch.
I think the clutch was installed wrong or something, or it was too much force.
I think it had
for
too much force. It was
yeah.
like a race clutch, and it was clamping too hard.
Yeah,
so
too much pressure
They
on it.
walked back like to a more,
like almost to like a shipping or a like a OEM clutch.
So when I think of, like, I think a lot of times, as is with most things that you and I talk about, a lot of the roadblocks to the things that I would like to try, my own perception of how difficult it's going to be and the failure that will happen from that is for me.
Right.
Not, I actually tried it and failed, and that makes me frustrated. A lot of times, I never
You're
get out.
gated by the try.
I never get out of the gate.
Yeah.
So that's a constant adjustment. Like a lot of stuff that I've done with the bike here, and certainly at some point, who knows, I'm struggling with the monetary gate. And there's that too, and there's time.
Right.
But sometimes honeydew projects or things that I would like to do with some of the cars, I'm gated by its importance and its need to function, but also I'm scared to get too far into it and break something, and now I don't want to fail.
In the case of your truck, it's broken already.
Sure, but I do need it to work.
Right.
Because the cost investment will warrant
doing it by yourself.
It needs to work.
Right.
I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars to replace something only to be like, well, in 5 years, hopefully it'll work because, I bought that motor and it's been sitting there for 2 years because I couldn't figure out something and. Like, at some point, you just need to
shit or get off the pot.
Yes.
Yeah.
I used that with someone else and they didn't understand what I meant. I'm like, as my dad said, shit or get off the pot. And they were like,
what does that mean?
What do you mean? Like, what are you doing?
Are you sitting on the toilet?
You're sitting on the toilet.
Then you shit
and get off go.
Yeah.
You do the thing and then what are you doing? It's not
just get off the pot.
It's not picnic time.
Don't sit on the pot if you're not going to shit.
Go. Get the out. Anyway, I find like my own. Speaking of shit, though,
I feel like when that happened, when we did that transmission, it was sort of like I was nervous about it, but like my little brother, being who he is and how he seemed to be, his confidence level in what he was doing, even though he probably hadn't done a bunch of it, was such that it eased me, but also like I said, coming out of the house and looking down on the garage floor and seeing him sit amongst all the parts.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I just spent all of our money on a transmission.
Right.
And bearings and, transmission fluid and blah blah blah,
Right.
I might never drive this car again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if that's the case, I don't even know how I'm going to get home.
Mm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So there was some of that.
Sure.
But it also seemed like you were saying, that car was like a 91 Civic.
Mm-hmm.
Simple. Like compared to today's cars, that was just a really simple car.
Mm-hmm.
And that transmission worked better after
than
it did from when I bought it in 1991. So that's saying something, I think.
Yeah. How long did it last?
Until I got rid of it.
Oh.
I had that car till 2004.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
So 13, 14 years, something like that.
Did something else give out, or you just traded in for something?
It had a bad master cylinder, so that was fun. I drove it to CarMax to sell it, and while I was driving the CarMax, I'm like pumping the brakes because it didn't want to stop. And then they test drove it.
Oh.
And they were like, "Oh, the master cylinder's failing." And I'm like, "Yeah, I probably should have told you."
What? That just happened.
It was working for me.
Are you kidding?
Oh, you mean that's what that means when I got to pump the brakes in order to stop?
I don't see a dash light for that. That's bullshit. You guys are making stuff up. I need a full quote.
The scariest one, though, was I remember at the time I was working up in Newcastle, so I'm coming home from work down the hill. And I think I was in Rockland, right in there somewhere, right like Loomis into Rockland kind of area.
Yeah.
And I was in the number 2 lane, and I dropped it into 4th gear to like go and pass somebody. So yeah, and I get over, and as I start gassing it hard in 4th, the car starts to giddy up, and I'm like, "What's happening?" And I look in my rearview mirror because I'm worried if someone's behind me. And I just see bits clinging out onto the highway. And I go, "Oh, shit, did I just blow up my engine?" And so I start slowing down, and I tick-tock over, and the car is basically dead. And I get it towed to the shop. And I was kind of in the mode at that point that like I didn't really, other than change the oil, I didn't really mess with cars very much. So I went to the shop, and it was the distributor.
Oh.
Cracked and blew up.
Oh, wow.
And that was what I saw blowing out the back of the car, was the distributor cap. Because, they're sort of like ceramic or whatever.
Yeah.
Or real hard plastic or ceramic combo or something. And just bits of it were just, out the back. And I went, "Oh, shit, did I just throw a rod or something?" That was like my thought.
You're right.
And so that was the scariest time I had in that car. And then after we got the distributor changed out, it was fine.
It was fine. It was fine. It's magic.
And then the worst was just that the master cylinder was going bad, and I didn't really have any idea how to tackle that. Like I didn't really. I mean, now I probably could have.
Oh yeah. But
then I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I need this car to work."
Yeah.
So and it was, the kids were little. I had a car seat in the back of that. You know how small those cars are?
The Civics?
Yeah. I had a car seat in the back of that thing.
2-door, 4-door?
It was a 2-door hatch. And I had a car seat back there, and I would like take Chandler to the in-laws. That's where they watched him in the day when we were working. Drop him off and go to work. I mean,
yeah, that's a tiny guy.
It's a little car. And it's just like, you get hit by an SUV in that thing today, it just peeled the top off of it.
Yeah.
So that was part of the reason why we got rid of it. And then it's one of those cars where it's like, I didn't get that much out of it, and I really wish I still had it.
Yeah.
Like
I see a lot of my car too, but it's like this small, simple, those cars.
Yeah.
Like everything, all the parts are readily available. It's like Mima. Like,
right.
Small, simple,
Yeah.
I see some of the stuff now for a lot of the very, very, we've talked about this at length. Like, the further we go, the more complex and more computers are involved. And what was I? I was. We've talked about this with the RS, like the stereo output in RS.
Oh yeah.
The decks, the concept that you and I know from, I have a car.
Put a single din or a double din in it.
Yeah, I put a new deck in it, and amps, and the wiring, and new speakers, and the integration of what certainly my kids' generation of automobile users, purchasers, leasers, whatever, would understand from a modern car is there is some sort of infotainment, touchscreen, whatever, typically
widget doohickey,
right, that does your climate control or your stereo and your maps and your and it's a screen, and everything in your most cars now routes through this thing. The RS is no different.
Tesla,
right?
Open the glove box.
EVs are probably all that way.
Yeah.
The RS was in like a semi-hybrid state where I didn't necessarily have an interest in replacing it, but it does have the touchscreen and integration to allow me an amp and updating the speakers. It was all done easily with aftermarket parts that are all readily available.
Yeah.
And it is a tackleable, not too complex audio upgrade option. I was looking at, what was it? Crutchfield and Broncos, and it just flat out says, does not recommend changing anything about the audio system. Like, you can find a third-party thing that will sell you a wiring harness to allow you to jack in, and you can
bypass the amps and
you can drop
speakers
in some speakers, but everything is so tied,
integrated
to other systems in that kind of thing. The further we go, it's like, well, shit.
Yeah.
Like, man, I don't necessarily want to have to, I don't need to engine tune, and I don't need to absolutely mod the shit out of every car going forward. But audio stuff, I do enjoy taking to a more elevated premium, and it seems like the further we get to modernizing cars and EVs, the more handcuffed those options get. And I'm like, well, I'm already skittish about losing manual transmissions.
Oh God.
Like, that's just into my heart. But you start taking those away, and then you start realizing that they're tying all of these things together in such a manner, even for car audio, that you lose the ability to tinker. Like, it hurts me in the heart place.
I joined this Cadillac forum, and they of course have an ATS section, right? And I had read some stuff on there, but didn't really find what I was looking for specifically to upgrading the stereo, because it's very similar. It's all integrated into the car. It's a Bose system, so it's like, what does that entail? I don't even know, right? How integrated that is. I mean, first of all the music stuff, like I could never put a third-party deck in it. It's just like the way, it's just not going to happen.
Right.
So can you go, okay, well, I just need to take the signals and replace everything from the dash back, speakers and like maybe amps or whatever. And so I posed a question like, okay, so is it better to do this, or, essentially like just go in and replace all the speakers with better speakers? Or do you have to go the route of sort of like what you did with the RS, where you have a DSP and then amps and, go that route?
Sure.
And one of the replies really kind of stuck with me was some guy like, oh, come on, we've done this a million times. And I'm like, well, fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that here.
Right.
But okay, thanks. But essentially, the way that system is designed is it has this has mics in the cabin
Okay.
that like look for noise and then sends like
Oh, like a competing frequency to
yeah
help.
to help defeat noise in the
Sure.
signal. And honestly, I mean, Bose has a reputation, and like like Dave says, there's no highs, there's no lows. It's Bose.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that.
Yeah.
It's a Bose system, which you would think, oh, god damn, it probably sounds good. I mean, it's okay.
Right.
It's a 10-speaker system,
Right.
and it's okay. It's got tweeters, it's got subwoofers, it's got speakers all over the fucking place.
It's okay.
Okay.
Mm.
It's not what I would consider to be good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it would cost quite a bit of money for me to like replace all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, man, I'm old now.
You know what?
I don't want to go through all of
You
it.
know, something that gives me a lot of like hesitation is, have you ever like been in a Tesla with audio that you would find as
No.
oh, this is pretty.
No.
I like that already. Like, I wonder how you get around that. Like, are they already very good and people aren't? Because I don't see.
I've seen
I don't
Teslas
see
that they have subs and stuff like
Do
that.
they?
Yeah, I've seen
Okay.
videos and stuff where people have done that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible to do this in my car,
Yeah.
but it's cost prohibitive.
Okay.
Like, it's not as simple as buying a deck
Yeah.
and buying an amp and replacing some speakers. It's like the DSP is expensive. You
Yeah.
gotta have, it's a 10-speaker system, so I'd be replacing 10 speakers,
Right.
plus like probably 1 or 2 amps at least.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, then I gotta tear apart everything and all the door panels and like, you know, the A-pillars, tweeters, and then nothing third party fits those, so it's got to be modified. And you know, you start thinking about like how much effort you would go through to do it.
Right. And how old's the car? And did that plastic fastener just break? And so now you need a new A-pillar thing, right?
Yeah.
Like all of those stuff.
Yeah.
As I was tinkering with the Miata, like just doing some drop-in stuff,
Mm-hmm.
just to bring up the fidelity a little bit. But, you know, it's 2012, so
Yeah.
as I'm disassembling stuff, I'm like, please don't break. Because now I'd be searching for, you know, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you in your situation, if I wanted to overhaul this, it's kind of an all-in thing. So
Yeah.
now I'm,
you have to do it all or just do nothing.
right, because you don't want to be on, off with panels every other weekend.
Right.
You know, now you're starting to create fatigue in plastic joints or fasteners, and
Yeah.
you put that one in and it bent the fastener thing that way and it doesn't quite fit right anymore. Where do I get that?
Mhm.
And.
Right.
And.
Melly's Subaru, we've been trying to drive it as much as possible. And one of the things that we notice is the rear hatch has a horrendous rattle. Like you drive down our street, you leave our house and drive down the street, and the road is a little bit bumpy. That thing just fucking goes crazy, and it sounds like the back end is going to fall off. I mean,
Really?
it's terrible. So I had put in a backup camera for her because you can put a third-party stereo
Right,
in it.
it's old enough to do that.
Yeah, and so I'd put a backup camera in, and when I access the back of the hatch, right, there's the plastic cover on the inside.
Yeah.
It's got some screws in it and some other pieces that you got to pull out, but then it just has those clips that are part of the plastic that feed into holes in the hatchback.
Okay.
And so you got to pop all those out. Well, of course, it's a 2009, so some of those are breaking. And so now they're not seating and holding very well, and I'm like, fuck, I bet you I caused all this rattle.
Right. Okay.
So I had ordered some of those little those white plastic bits for my wife's car. And so I had a bag full of them. And I'm like, you know what? It was a couple days ago. I'm going to pull that thing off and
fix the things.
every single one of those fucking clips is going to get replaced.
Okay.
So I do. It takes me like 15 minutes. It's like no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Put it all back together, and we drive it, and it's quiet. And I'm like, oh, shit, did I just fix?
God damn.
And then my wife the next day says, oh, no, it's back. And I'm like, what the shit?
What?
So then last night, we took it out because we want to get miles on it for
Right.
before we give it back to Millie,
Right.
which will probably be this weekend. And we're talking about the fucking rattle in the back, and it's there, and I'm like, God damn, what is that? What is going on? So
right.
we get home, and I back it into the. I'm like, I got to figure out what this is.
Right.
I am touching stuff on just with the thing closed. It's the goddamn license plate.
Oh,
The license plate and the frame are just
rattling.
Because they're screwed in tight.
Right.
And the license plate frame on the bottom edge has a little piece that pokes up that you're supposed to put the license plate into.
Okay.
That gives it tension.
Right.
When you screw it to the car. Well, that wasn't put in there. So that means these two things were just
clapping each other.
clapping each other. And so what I did is I have some
gasket.
Yes,
foamy seal.
Yes.
Yes.
And I put it around the license plate tray,
Mm-hmm.
and I put the license plate, and it was fucking snug, and I motherfucking fixed that shit. That car is not rattling now.
Yeah, refrigerator or door seals, like every car audio subwoofer license plate shaker fix.
So, come hell or high water, I was going to fix that fucking rattle. And it wasn't just a rattle. It was horrendous. And you're just like barely moving down the road. And you're like, fuck.
What is going on?
The back end is just going to fall off.
Something's going sideways here.
Yeah.
How's the Subaru been? Good?
Yeah, it's been fine.
Fucking A.
Got it smogged last weekend.
Yay.
So it's ready to go back. So I think she's going to drive Shan's car home, I think Thursday night. So tomorrow night or
Melly
maybe
is?
Friday. Yeah.
So she's coming up to take it down.
Yeah, because we would deliver it to her, but it's Easter weekend.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think she's going to drive home and then drive her car back. Because there was even, Shan was like, I could just take the train down,
Right.
Like, and she could just come pick me up at the station, and then I could drive with her.
Sure.
I really want her to drive herself.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
She can do it.
She can do it.
She can do it for sure.
Yeah.
But that's how I think it's going to go at this point. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, she did drive. Her and a friend, someone from her cohort in school, is nearby on her internship, and so she lived in the area. And in fact, I think she did her previous internship at the same place Mellie's at.
Okay.
Now, and so she lived in the area, and she's like, "Oh, I have a hookup for wine tasting. You want to go wine tasting?"
Oh.
Millie's like, "Hello." So they went wine tasting last weekend, and she drove like all over Napa and north of there and did some fun stuff.
Sweet.
So, she can do that kind of thing. It's not that much different from driving to Sacramento.
It's not that bad.
No, it's not. As long as you're patient with it.
She'll be leaving when? Thursday?
I'm not sure exactly. That's
Easter weekend.
That's questions.
It'd be different. Oh.
There's questions there.
Do anything good over the weekend?
Not really. No. Did we? No.
No.
No, did you?
I did a PTO day on Thursday.
Yeah.
And I went up snowboarding.
Yeah.
To get my
snowboarding
my
badge?
value of my season pass.
Right.
Which paid it for itself. So now
you're even.
Now I'm dead even.
So if you go again,
it's like free.
It's bonus.
Yeah. It's like totally free.
All right. So Alpine Meadows again.
Yeah. No, North Star.
Oh, North Star. Okay.
no one was right. There wasn't no one. It was
It was a Thursday.
Yes, it was a Thursday. So low population.
That's the best.
We were on a lot of good base. There was a lot of good base, but we were also on probably about a week's worth of spring sun weather.
So a little slushy.
It was slushy, but it was also sunny. We were on I think that evening, and then Friday they were expecting winter storm warning. So it was going to be like a shoot the gap. It was, we were the last day before snow anyway.
Yeah.
And who knows how the rest of spring was going to go. Like, if you want to go up, I took Emily and Piper up, and I'm looking at the weather. I'm like, well, I'm taking pants, and I'll take my jacket. I'm putting in my backpack.
We all hope you take your pants.
Yeah. I'm wearing the snowboard pants, but I'm not wearing a layer underneath it. I'm looking at the weather. It's going to be sunny there. This is like teenage and 20s spring snowboarding fucking epicness.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is baller. I'm ready. This is throwback era shit. So I went up with the jacket in the backpack and a short sleeves.
Oh, wow.
And so I was wearing a snowboard bib, 2 shirts, and a helmet, and it was fucking epic.
Nice.
It was
so not too windy or anything like that.
No,
awesome.
There was no real wind. It was, and towards 3-4, you could see the front starting to come in, but we'd already got ours. Piper made really good progress in trying to tackle something net new.
Yeah.
It was her, I think we'd worked out probably her 4th time, like really in total. But really maybe the 2nd or 3rd time, probably the 3rd time with me. Where like the first time it's dad and daughter, and I'm not trying to necessarily teach you anything. You just need to get a feel for how this is going to go. The second time was a little bit more like, can I give you a tip? What do you need? And somewhere in between there, she's gone up a couple times with friends who've also helped her or just let her figure it out. So at this point, she's got her own, how she gets down the mountain and her own comfortability and what happens where.
Yeah.
And we got a couple, North Stars, there's a lot of real estate. Like there's, the runs are really long. So as someone like her who's just trying to get a feel.
Find a groove.
Yeah. Right. And as someone like me who's trying to get back into a groove, the runs are long enough where you don't feel like, well, I was just starting to figure something out and the run's over.
Oh, I'm already at the lifeline.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's there's such a time.
Boreal.
Yes.
Yeah. Donner Ski Ranch.
Right. It's that North Star is really that sweet spot.
Nice.
And I didn't really ever make it there. For me, I spent most of my time at Donner and Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily put off Sugar Bowl. Those runs are long too.
Especially if you go to the backside.
Sure.
Yeah.
But North Star just felt like it's something I didn't know that I was missing. The runs are really nice. The chairs are really fast. It's very convenient. So I approached this one as, you've been up a couple times, and unless you ask for real input, I'm just trying to assess where she's at, and I'm here as your buddy. I'm coming up, and I'm still trying. I'm old enough to where I'm not really pressing the limits, so I'm here with you. Yeah. So I'm not gonna ditch. I'm here to see where you're at and chill, and I'm good.
And snowboard.
I had my little Bluetooth speaker doodad.
Oh, really?
I was going up and down. The first trip or two down the mountain, Taylor Swift.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I'm the Swiftie. Third time, I'm on the bench strapping in. Siri, Oh, well, I did I have my watch, so that's okay. I watched up Beastie Boys Essentials.
Oh, there we go.
And then Sabotage. And fucking, I'm just, yeah, I'll get halfway down and, you guys can catch up, but I got Sabotage and I'm just ripping it.
Yeah.
What I'd noticed from her is that she would always like speed check. She would
get a little nervous.
She was nervous about catching a toe side.
Okay.
And tumble. So she was very. She would, as soon as she got anywhere near a speed check, and then 1, 2 speed check, 1, 2 speed check, where she didn't probably necessarily need to because
she's limiting her comfort.
Yes.
Yeah,
she knows exactly how to abate the speed.
Right.
And to keep herself out of danger.
Yeah.
Right, left, speed check. Right, left, speed check. And it, one, it's working just one set of muscles, so she would get tired. But it was also when you're speed checking every 2, 3.
It takes a while.
It's going to take her a bit,
yeah.
Which is fine. No one was in a rush. Emily and I were more than happy to me playing Beastie Boys or Taylor Swift stuff,
darting back and forth,
back and forth.
Yeah,
do something stupid. I'm working on ollies, just trying to get my balance and stuff back. Like, oh, okay, all right,
yeah.
So no one is in a rush. Finally, I approached her. I'm like, here's what I see. You need to get past the part where you're scared about the speed. I said, you can control your speed by aggressively slaloming.
Just with your turns.
Right, just with the turns.
Yeah.
And I say, I'm gonna take off, and I guarantee you I can go back and forth, side to side, and go slower than you speed checking yourself from a complete stop.
Sure.
Like just by creating turns. I said the friction and all that stuff is there. I'm just turning harder, stops without stopping.
Right.
Like it's a dance. I said you need to get past the part where you think you need to come all the way to the stop. And when you start to feel that you're there, I said you need to hip it.
Yeah, just go.
And come back to the other side. You're already comfortable.
Was it a matter of one specific turn?
Yes.
Okay, so like a front side to a back side sort of thing? Okay.
Yes. So once I got her to a couple times later in the day, she knew the chaining of body movements to get around it, but she was still finding herself like, I don't want to. That's the fear spot.
It's the discomfort in that motion.
Yes.
And not trusting the board, really.
Yes.
So you have an edge on both sides.
Right.
You just have to trust that it's there and use it.
What worked for us late in the day, about the last hour or so, was that it started to get so slushy that the fear of eating shit, it wasn't going to hurt.
Yeah.
And I just, her and Emily, I'm like, you're going to fall. It's okay. No one here is measuring dicks about, oh, you fell. Like, in order to get past some of these skill set blocks, you're going to have to go faster.
Just fall down and get it over with.
And you're going to fall.
Yeah.
It'll be okay.
Yeah.
Are you potentially going to injure yourself? Sure. But you can't. You have to get past that part in order to progress.
And also, you're young and you'll heal quick.
Yeah, you're limber. Everything is still flexible and shit.
You still have rubber bones.
If I blow something, I've got to go get surgery. You know.
And you're going to have to push me around in a wheelchair for the rest of my life.
Right. Or I'm eating, ribs from a straw because blender. She knew, but it started to get. It was the mind block.
Yeah.
And there was a moment where she was coming down. I'm like, you need to think of it like a dance. When you get to here, think of it like a song, like it's a 1 and 2 and 3, not stop, but turn and 2 and 3. And I'm down maybe 20 feet from her as she starts to get close to a turn and her speed check. I'm like 3 and turn.
Yeah.
And it was somewhere in that moment where she realized that's where I have to, if I
don't have to speed check. I can just turn into the...
I use that momentum to get me going back the other way.
Yeah.
And I'm comfortable with that turn going that way, so I just turn. And when I get close to I got to turn.
Yeah.
2 and 3 and turn. And 2 and 3.
So did she have it down for the most part?
She had the second to last run. She was uber pissed with herself because she would get like close, and then she would end up speed checking, and then she'd do like a double fist, like, and she was super pissed. And I said, one more run? You got one more run? It's okay. If you're done, you're done. I know you can do it, and I know you have the sequencing. The slush is working for you.
Yeah.
You have it.
Because the slush gives you some sort of extra resistance to a certain degree.
There's a lot of more leeway.
Yeah.
So the cuts work, it's softer, so it's working for you. I'm like, if you got one more run, I think you know what you need to do. Use the slush in your favor. Take the lines that you know work for you. I said, one more run. She's like, and her last run was fucking perfect.
Oh, nice.
It was, she won.
Oh, wait till the last second. Why don't you?
Yeah, fucking great. But we got the whole mountain. We had spent pretty close to, I think we were there near not open 9:30. But because we got to park so close, because it was so, we weren't really waiting in lines. No one was having to do U3, 2. Our chairs were relatively full, or it was so sparse that we got a chair to ourselves. Everything was relatively fast. Nice. So it was a full day of boarding, and she ended it
on a high.
On a high. Like, absolutely. Like, this is where you need to... This was it. She had got past a skill block.
Right.
And now there's more snow coming. So.
And now she knows she can do it. So it's a matter of making sure she can do it the next time she goes.
As someone who's snowboarding, and this is going into our 20s, right? Who's done the T-shirt spring skiing thing. Fucking, I was the only dude doing that. Mm-hmm. And I absolutely am a fucking dipshit for doing it because I got so sunburned.
I was wondering.
Oh, dude. Raccoon.
Oh, yeah.
Totally. My nose may still be a little red. I don't know. My arms are like itchy as the sunburn has worn off, and now I'm sure I'm about ready to peel at some point. But I've got T-shirt, sunburn, tan right halfway up my bicep.
Farmer tan.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And like we got back, and Venus was like, "Oh my God, what did you do?" And I went, "Spring skiing. It was awesome. I had a good time." She's like, "You are so fucking burnt. Did you do?" And my lips, I didn't have any chapstick. I didn't use any sunscreen. You should always be using sunscreen. I was a total dipshit.
Yeah.
Skin cancer is not to be fucked with.
Yeah.
You should wear sunscreen. I was so in the moment when we left, and I felt so amazing. It was so fun. It was so fucking fun. It was like snowboarding in my 20s.
Yeah.
The weather was amazing, and here it is Wednesday. So almost a week later, I'm still, God damn it,
itching.
I'm still, my forearms still itch from the sunburn. It was worth it. Drawbacks probably won't be, and I should always be wearing sunscreen. And I was more worried actually for my lips because I could tell about halfway through. I'm like that burnt hot lip, smooth lip thing. I'm like, I fucked this one up.
Yeah,
I did.
You need your Susie chapstick.
But I was already burnt at that point. Like, I went to sleep Thursday night and I went, everything is on fire.
Oh, I hate that feeling.
Everything is on fire. It was
Don't envy that feeling.
It was worth it though. But I will take sunscreen next time. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when it's full sun and it's just reflecting off the mountain right at you.
Oh yeah.
Brutal.
I should have known better.
High elevation.
You should always take sunscreen with you if you're going to go spring skiing. But Piper had a long sleeve. Halfway through, Piper had her jacket on, and she had a long sleeve shirt. I'm dad, so I'm pack muling. She ditched her jacket halfway through. I'm like, this is the epic stuff. Like, if you're hot, take your jacket off. Pardon me. Take your jacket off. I'll carry it. I don't care. Like, look at me.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
I'm in a T-shirt.
In a T-shirt.
And I look like a lobster.
This is amazing. Who's the dipshit?
Where's SpongeBob?
So she had she had a little bit of a sunburn because she had a low collar top.
Yeah.
She was wearing a bib too, but there's no real way around not getting some sunburn.
Yeah.
God, it was worth it though.
That's fun.
It was good stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, it was funny because you sent a picture and I was like, wait, what? I was just talking to him last night. He didn't say shit about going snowboarding.
I was like, I don't know. And I felt guilty for PT. I don't know why. I should have, I'm like, if I don't say anything, then people won't know. But I took PTO. I didn't call in sick. I should have just been like, yeah, I'm fucking on the mountain, so fuck the sun, long live the beast.
You've worked there forever, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Shoulda. Yeah, anyway, it was weird.
It ain't no thing.
So
You're just not used to it because you never do it.
I have a question for you.
7.
You ever like make chocolate milk?
Sometimes.
And you're like, you never quite get everything mixed, but you're chugging it and you don't see it, and then you get like an unmixed globule, and you're like, like it makes you
of like extra syrup or something, or
no, like powder.
Oh, the powder,
like making a powdered thing.
Yeah.
I always overshake because I can't stand those.
Yeah.
Like, tell me. We have props. Tell me how many fluid ounces are inside that thing.
11.5.
Now, what if I told you that there's actually 27 ounces in there?
I would say you're full of shit. It says 11.5.
So I've been going to the gym, and every once in a while I get like those globules in here, so I have to shake the shit out of these things.
So are they putting powder in there or something like
No, it's just every once in a while around the lips it gets like a little crusty, so I just overshake it because I can't stand that.
Okay.
Going to the gym.
Yeah.
I'm putting in the time.
Yeah.
Right? I have good forearms. I'm shaking the shit out of this thing.
Yeah. Plus all the masturbating.
Right. So right hand, left hand, it's all good. So it is, today is Wednesday.
Yeah.
This was
all day.
Yesterday. I end up with a series of work tasks with time sequencing.
Okay.
Very important deliverables. And I've got my protein drink on my desk and my water that I've been drinking. So I start this work task. I am hammering away. I got about an hour left. It's near lunchtime. I'm looking at my protein shake, and I'm like, I gotta have that. Otherwise, but I'm in the zone. I'm like, we're gonna got about an hour and a half left. Okay, dude. I have about 10 servers to be working on. 4 go sideways. I've got a problem.
Yeah.
1 or 2 tackleable in the time that I have left. 4, okay, now we're in the hot seat. So I'm punching. 45 minutes left. This is going to be tight.
Now 45 minutes till the end of your workday.
To the
end of the time frame.
End of my time frame.
So does that mean like the server is not in use for some amount of time, so you can work on it?
Yes, I have a window. It has to be done.
Okay.
After the window, things get spicy.
Spicy.
Yes, and I run out of my access to do the thing, so it needs to be up and recovered and out the door.
And what if it's not?
I have to submit and get authorization
to continue working on.
And most likely that wouldn't happen because my window is an outage window. So that means I have to hand it. It's needed to go back into service.
Sure.
By the end.
But if something's wrong, can that box go back into service?
No. So
that doesn't.
I have to have it recovered and back to turn over.
But what if you can't?
It creates an outage for the application.
Okay.
Which would be problematic.
Okay.
So I'm getting closer to this deadline. Fuck. So I'm starting to, get antsy in my seat. And
okay.
I'm like fidgeting with stuff as I'm working and waiting for things. So I'm shaking.
Okay.
Shaking my shake. Put it down. Hammer, 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 hammer. Fuck, it's lunch. Fuck, I'm hungry.
Lots of return key presses.
Shake. I should just have my protein shake. Undo my top. Take a swig. Put the top back on, set it down. Oh, shit, my thing came back. About 10 minutes more work. 3 or 5. 3 of the 4 boxes come back. I've got time. Sweet. This one box, I know exactly where it's at. I'm going to make it.
By exactly where it's at, you mean where the issue lies.
Right.
Okay.
I know exactly where the problem is. I've got it. I'm on the path to fixing it based off the other 3 that have recovered. Sweet. I'll be fine. Sweet. I'm going to chug the rest of this protein shake.
Okay.
And I do this. I did not put my cap all the way back on. Hashtag I love my wife because my wife knows that this is a problem for me.
Oh, God.
I have a...
Is it a strength problem?
Yeah, right. I just straight up...
I just can't get the muscle to turn
I
it.
have a habit of sauces or the powdered peanut butter.
Oh.
I'll cap back on,
but not
fully screwed on.
All right.
And then someone else will knock something over or go to get it, and it falls. So I had, in my haste, unscrew my cap, taken a small swig, put the cap back on, but not a full turn, and then in my need to shake it
some more,
shake it to make sure I don't get the gagger globule.
Yeah.
I turn it upside down and do this, and I proceeded to vacate no, Jim, not 11.5 ounces. There had to have been 20 fucking ounces. Because I shit you not, this thing went that way from my desk.
Oh, my God.
And this way from my desk.
Oh, my God.
Then back down into my...
Before you realized...
Before I went... Oh, shit. Like, what the fuck just
In
happened?
the meantime, also, you're supposed to be fixing the
right.
server.
And I had... Right. This... In my lap, dude.
Yeah.
There is protein fucking shake everywhere.
Yeah.
And I went,
oh, shit.
oh, no. Most importantly, just before I picked up the shake, I had moved my mouse to a non-important command line window. So I was not in a window, but my keyboard tray is in my keyboard is in my lap.
Yeah.
I picked this fucking bottle up and went, woof, woof.
Yeah.
And there is milk protein shake to a 20-ounce amount, at least, in my keyboard. And I see keys and carriage returns in this not
important,
vulnerable window going burp,
oh my
burp,
God.
burp, and I went, oh no. Reach over, unjack the keyboard.
Because it's USB.
Right.
Okay.
And went, I am soaked.
I'm just, in my head, I'm hearing,
oh, internet. And they're like, wait, it's everywhere. There's protein shake everywhere. My sweats and what these are protein shakes, so they're dense with shit.
Dense.
some of the heat and the ambient temp, like it starts to like you get like
Curdle.
just salt, like it white, and
Oh my gosh.
but my keyboard is toast. So now how do I get up? There's pools of wet shit.
Yeah.
Like so if I get up, it's hot mop.
Yeah.
Keyboard out. Like what the fuck is that? Did it come back? Did the server? Is my mouse usable? I have.
Did the mouse get covered too?
Mouse had spatter, but was functional.
Okay.
So the keyboard's toast, and my work laptop was fine. So I'm like, well, I can still see this to fix with keyboard. Like it's
you have a keyboard on the laptop.
I have a keyboard on the laptop,
Sure.
so I'm not keyboardless.
Yeah.
But this is fucked. So I'm like,
which now you're less efficient because you're using a whole different keyboard.
Yes.
Right.
There's no clickety clack. So I take off my hoodie. I take off my hoodie to at least because the keyboard tray now has a pool from the keyboard being removed.
Yeah.
Now there's a pool of protein shake that my laser mouse is like semi-swimming in. So I'm like hoodie off, mop, protein shake off.
Oh,
and
man.
I'm like, okay, you're clean. And
8 minutes left.
yeah. Within about 5 minutes, the machine had come back. So, that checkbox is done. Like the problem is solved, and this can be done. But now I've got
a disaster.
Right in the 15 minutes from inception, like wherever the protein shake was not pooled had started to dry, and it wouldn't just wipe off. Like I had to, and so I stayed in my sweat.
Now, in my mind, your office has like steel case kind of sort of like walls and stuff in there, right?
Yeah.
That your desk
I have
is
like a semi-cube and multiple.
You have like cube bits in there.
Yes.
Does it have fabric on it?
The one does, but I didn't hit that.
Oh, okay. Because I'm just seeing
it had sprayed to the floor before it made. Like I was lucky that I didn't hit the iMac.
The ceiling.
Yeah. I mean, Jim, I'm going to the gym. I whipped this fucking bottle and in 2.5 twists, emptied it.
All 40 ounces.
It's at least 120. I don't know where
it was pretty much a hydro flask.
Right.
Full of.
Fuck me.
Oh, I hate when I do stuff like that.
It took me an hour and a half to get my keyboard. I love it. It's a Razer keyboard of really clickety clackety. I hot bought another HyperX keyboard, 10 keyless keyboard to like replace. I didn't finish out my day. It was like 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a soft key. Fuck, but I bought it in a piss because I'm like, I have to have a keyboard. I can't work on this like up. So now I'm living with a keyboard that's less than pleasing.
So your keyboard, it's not savable?
No.
You couldn't rinse it out or whatever?
I would not even trust it at this point.
Oh.
It was, and some of it's, there was some device that I had. I don't know what it was. I tried to clean something, and I could just not get all the, because it's also like it's sugary, sucralose. Yeah. So it got sticky on some things. I'm like, I would have to completely disassemble this thing, and I would never be able to trust that water. I didn't get all of the fluid out and not be like somewhere working on something important.
And then
all of a sudden I hit enter 2 things early and delete something that I not intended.
Right.
Like I can't trust it. I work on things that are just too important to not
RM-R star.
Right. Yeah. Wait, no. Star.bat. Fuck, no. And everything. Right. This fucking went. Anyway.
Yeah. That sucks.
Oh, it was. And Venus had come on because literally the evening before, Venus was like, did you use the powdered peanut butter? And I went, yeah. She's like, yeah. You didn't put the lid all the way on, and I made a mess in the kitchen. And I went, oh, well, sucks to be you.
Smart ass.
So she came, then after this, she came home. She's like, hi, how was your day? And I went, well.
Peanut butter?
Can you see my pants? And she's like, what happened? And I went, karma. And she went, what? And I went, you see this protein shake?
Here's the story.
She's like, you forgot to put the lid on. And I went, absolutely not. I assure you I put the lid on. She's like, you forgot to put the lid on. And I said, I forgot to put the lid on all the way.
The lid was there.
She's
it just
like,
wasn't
what happened?
Screwed
and
down.
I went, it went fucking everywhere in a heartbeat. And she's like, yeah? And I went, yes.
Brutal.
So make sure your protein shake lids are always on, especially if you're working from home and above your keyboard in your work environment.
So do you does that mean that you're looking for a new keyboard, or are you not going to buy another one?
I have a hard time because
you need I would think that you would need a clickety clackety, because your environment, I would assume you would want that. Can you not find those razors anymore?
you can. They're there.
Yeah.
I bought something that I got delivered within. It was like Amazon
Just because you needed it
by
now.
evening.
Yeah.
It wasn't it was like $80, but $80 is not no bucks.
Right.
And I was
You can always return it.
no, I checked the box. It's like part of my self-penance for not paying attention.
So that means you got to suffer with a keyboard that you don't actually like.
At least for a month, I think. Eventually, I'll rebuy the razor, I'm sure. But I impulsively went, I just need to solve this problem, and if I'd have just spent 10 more minutes,
Sure.
I wouldn't have made a mistake. But it's a soft, and man, it's one of those things as a typer. Some people do fine with the soft key. I am not. I need to click, 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 click. It's loud. I have been on conference calls where I have forgot to mute my thing.
Oh, yeah.
And someone's like, holy smoke, is someone tap dancing? I'm like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, it is loud as fuck. That feedback. Are you a clickety-clackety guy?
No, I use an Apple keyboard.
Oh,
Just the right
small butterfly.
Yeah, they're shallow keys. I mean, they're sort of like a laptop key, but they don't make any noise. And I think I'm starting to realize that maybe I need something that makes a little noise.
Do you?
Yeah,
well, I think for me the noise is a byproduct of the feedback.
Yeah, the action. Yeah.
If it was silent, but with that amount of force and tactile response, I'd be fine. I don't need the noise per se. I need the
press.
The press
is
what. Now I don't necessarily have a problem with the Apple keyboards, but I wouldn't work on these either. But for a laptop keyboard, I like them.
Well, this is what I use is the standard Apple keyboard with the keypad on the end, or the number pad.
Yeah.
And they're fine keyboards. I've used them forever.
Yeah.
I'm very used to them. That's part of the reason why I still use them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Sometimes I don't care for keyboards that have a lot of movement in the keys.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like also I'm a very sloppy typer, and that might help.
Could be
something that makes a little noise.
Could be.
I don't know. So, I haven't really given it too much thought beyond that.
Yeah.
But that sucks.
Oh yeah, it was a fucking mess. I was gonna start with, when was the last time you really made a mess? Well, I mean, this was epic. Like, I haven't made a mess to this. It was.
Yeah.
It was fucking everywhere.
I have to admit, I made a pretty good size coolant mess in my garage.
Oh yeah.
I was working on Mellie's car trying to flush her heater core.
Oh yeah.
A couple years ago.
Yeah.
and I have one of those things that you put on the radiator that you can pour.
Oh, the burp cup?
Yeah. So I had that on there, and the car was running, and it was starting to get warm.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to the point to where it was all of a sudden it got hot, and you see the level of the thing start to raise, like it's, I don't know, expanding or
Okay.
it was. And instead of jamming the cork in it, essentially,
Uh-huh.
I fucking panic, and I just turn off the car, but it's still doing, and it just started dumping coolant everywhere, all over the garage floor, and all over the car, all over me. Hot.
Now picture that, but in your living room or your work office.
Yeah.
That's what. Fuck. It was. I ended up wearing the pants like all evening. It's like you fucked up. You're an idiot, and it got all crusty at my crotch.
Oh.
Like, I'm wearing these.
Do you ever consider buying anything? Do you use TikTok a lot or very little? I don't know. I send you TikToks, but you watch them. But I don't know if you scroll through TikTok ever.
No, if I'm doing that, that consumption happens on Instagram for me.
I see that. Okay. There is a viral product that I have come across where these things show up in my feed by people that have made content about them.
Okay.
And they're a set of pans.
Pans.
Like cooking pans.
Okay.
And what's appealing to me, first of all, they're ceramic pans.
Okay.
So they got this ceramic coat on them, and they have a handle that it comes off, and they move from pan to pan.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to cook with it, you clamp the handle on, and then it's just like a regular pan with a handle.
Okay.
And then you can unclick it and then go to the other one. So it's a space-saving thing, which in my house is paramount.
Makes sense.
And I've seen videos where people take these pans and cook an egg in them with no oil whatsoever, which, like, in my mind, that's just a huge no-no. I don't care if it's Teflon.
Right.
Like, it will stick.
Right.
And I was like, And they're like between $40 and $60 for a set. I think it's 3 pans, a lid, and 1 handle.
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't want to spend that kind of money on it. And then one day I see I've got a $20, it's like basically half price for the pans.
Okay.
And I'm like, that means they're like $21. I can't go wrong. So I ordered them.
Okay.
They showed up today.
Yeah.
Oh my God. They're really good.
Oh, yeah.
For viral TikTok pans. I can't believe it. Like, literally, Shannon and I were super excited. UPS drops them off.
Uh-huh.
We open the box. I get one out. I clean it. Put it on the thing. I turn the burner on medium. We get an egg out. I crack it right in there. The fucking egg's like sliding around. I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now?
How is this magic?
Yeah.
Huh.
No oil in the pan.
Wow.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it.
Wonder how long that... so it's all ceramic?
They're like, they have a ceramic coat on them. I'll take some pictures and send them to you. Very impressed so far. I mean, how durable are they? I don't know.
Right.
How do they...
You have all silicone or bamboo utensils so you don't scrape that coating off?
I don't know if it's I don't know if it's like a thick ceramic coating that's on them, because they're like cream colored. Okay. The pans themselves. And it seems like the coat on them is pretty hefty. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'll let you know. But I was blown away at the quality. And they come in a tiny little box, and it's, like I said, 3 pans and a lid and a handle. Mm-hmm. It's a little tiny box because they're all stacked in there. Right. I'm totally impressed. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Omelets at your house every day.
I mean, anything.
Yeah.
It's like two like
9-inch?
One smaller,
like what are the
saucepan, one bigger, one smaller fry pan, one bigger fry pan, and one deeper like saucepan and a lid. I think that's what came in there.
So like a single egg pan, a 9-inch, and like a then a
No, like a bigger, like a 9-inch and maybe a bigger one, and then a like
even
a
bigger.
Yeah, like a
saucepan.
Yeah, that's decent. I'll take some pictures and send it to you.
Well, fucking take some pictures and send it to me.
Very impressed by it. I don't normally like go, oh, I got to have that thing that everybody else is talking about. I saw enough videos that I was like, okay, for $20, why not? You know what I mean?
Sure.
Let's give it a whirl.
Every once in a while, I get some of those things that pop in there. I'm like,
that's kind of cool.
I should have one of those.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Is there any sort of viral or advertised things that you see, like maybe on Instagram or TikTok, that you were like, I have to, and you ordered it? Because this is the first time I ever ordered anything off the TikTok shop.
The 2 fucking stunt lightsabers that I have, I bought on Father's Day coming out of Fiji because it popped up in my. And I'm like, well, I fucking like lightsabers, and this is a 2-for-1.
Yeah,
and it's Father's Day. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So
you ordered them.
I ordered them.
And was that on Instagram?
Yes.
Okay. And were they decent?
They're good for like learning how to.
Oh, okay.
Fuck around with lightsabers. Yeah.
I just never had. That was the first time I ever ordered anything on the TikTok shop, and I get irritated with TikTok because it feels like you're video. Here's a fucking someone, and it looks like a regular TikTok, but now it's an ad.
I get a lot of motorcycle gear. Like, oh, are you looking for? What did I do the other day? I think it was gloves or a jacket, and obviously someone scrubbed a cookie based off a search because I got like casual hip motorcycle jacket pantings or whatever, and I went, well, that does look cool. Does it have armor in it? What happened? Fucking cheap Chinese scam, and I went, oh, god damn it.
The one that was weird for me was Anchor makes a MagSafe or whatever they call it for the phone.
Yeah.
Like charger.
Yeah.
That just magnets to the back of your phone and then charges your phone.
Yeah. And
it's a little battery pack, right?
Yeah.
And so I had ordered one of those because I figured I needed one.
Yeah.
Maybe. So I ordered one, and whatever the model was, it was like, I don't know, it's 636 or whatever the fucking model number they have on it. And then I ordered one on Amazon, and then on TikTok, I kid you not, like right after that, like are they talking to each other? Like I don't understand because
you bet.
Because on TikTok, not Amazon, right? On TikTok, all of a sudden I start seeing
battery.
Yeah, like, oh, check out this battery from Amazon. I'm like, yeah, I fucking bought it all. Swipe away, and then like 3 videos go by, and here's another one of someone else doing a video about this fucking Anchor. I'm like, yeah, I fucking have one already.
The tumbler, that rotating knife sharpening.
Yeah,
I get that.
Oh, really?
In my feed all the time. Like, at some point, I'm going to end up buying the fucking thing.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Like, it'll turn anything into... I'm like,
put your leg in there. You can fucking slice through a...
You want a sharp dick? Rotate this on the tumbler. Wait, what? Why? Why would I do that? Because it's the tumbler. It'll sharpen anything.
Put your bone in there and just sharpen it up.
Just sharpen the boner. That doesn't make sense at all. Why would I do that?
But it can do it.
But just rotate, put the tip right on this tumbler.
Yeah, put your protein bottle in there.
Yeah. Yeet.
But it's just, I think it's weird. Like, I ordered a thing on Amazon, and then TikTok starts sending me literally for like two or 3 weeks videos about the fucking thing that I just ordered on. I'm like, I already fucking bought it. Leave me alone.
It's done. We're good.
I'm not getting another one, fucking asshole.
Yeah, the rear shocks for the VTX. I bought. God, I searched for those somewhere at the tail end of January on Amazon. Like every time I open Amazon, it's a row of suspension. 2.5 weeks ago, I ended up buying the suspension. I ended up buying them, and how convenient. Now all the row of shocks are gone. But I'm like, dude.
Oh, he spent that money now.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
He already, the wish list item has been vacated. He doesn't need these. He needs a tumbler, though.
He definitely needs to sharpen his dick.
Nice. Sharpen. Fuck. God.
Well, I mean, I guess it kind of worked on me, too, because I bought pans.
Yeah, you bought the pan. I mean,
Yeah.
it worked. Eventually, just keep throwing him the ads.
Yeah.
He'll buy one. Go throw him a fucking coupon.
Yeah, I mean, I
Eventually.
just kept getting, like, TikTok videos about people who had bought these pans, and I was like, well, that's kind of cool. And maybe it hears me say that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool. And then it's like, oh, send more of them.
Send it.
He'll order them.
He'll do it. He's there.
And then they were just on sale or whatever for cheap enough that
Is he a homeowner? Send him the ad again. Send him the ad.
Yeah.
We're at time.
All right.
All time. Time.
Oh. Of all time?
And notice also that it was empty.
I've just figured it was because you drink it.
No, that could be the empty one. I don't fucking know. Anyway, you should return the cart.
Wash your hands.
Wash your ass.
Check your oil, Tony.
Stay up to date on your shots.
Make the call if you need to.
Register to vote.
Do the kindness.
Pick up a broom. We'll catch you next week.
We'll catch you next week. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye.